So today we're going to see how we can load the data in bulk. So so far we are seeing like record by record, right? So we are creating a single records or updating it one by one from the UI. Let's say if we have thing right, hundreds or thousands or lakhs of records, you need to load to a object in less time. How we can do? What are all the tools available? And once we load it, how we can do a reporting on a existing data. Let's say your object have a thousands of records and you cannot open one by one and see it. And what is the best way to visualize the data and analyze the data and summarize it? How we can do it? This is what we're going to discuss today. So for loading the data, what are all the options we have is data loader and import wizard. So they are the main tools that we are mostly use in Salesforce. So we'll come one by one. So there are some limitations and differences when we have a tool. So first of all, why we have a tool and why we need to learn. Import wizard is a inbuilt tool of a Salesforce. So just you need to open one page in Salesforce itself and you will start loading the data. But thing was we don't have much options and we have so much of manual effort. So even though if you have a similar set of data that you need to load frequently, like weekly, daily or monthly, you have to load similar data also. The same level of effort you need to put when you use a import wizard. And apart from that, it has its advantages, like if you have any kind of relational fields you can map, or like if you have any duplicate records that you want to avoid while loading, all this can be an advantages while doing an import wizard. But we can do up to 50,000 records only using an import wizard, not more than that. And what we can do was we can do a scheduled export, and then we can create records and we can update records. We don't have much options. Coming to data loader, it is an application built on Java using Heroku, and using this application we are going to access the Salesforce API using this tool. Once it is installed, and using this tool you have options to insert, update, upset, delete, export, and export all. What are these are all the options we having while using the data loader. While in import wizard, either we can do a insert or update. We don't have option to delete. First, in high level, I will explain what are all the things we have, and I will show you how we see the options over there. Okay, in the notes, I will give you all the information in detail as a tabular format. What's the difference between import wizard and data loader? So I'm not writing any notes here. So that is a high level one. Okay. So it's when you're saying insert, that means you're going to create a new records, and we don't have a option to avoid duplicate data in data loader, and we have a limit, like how much data we can load is a 5 million records we can load. So that one, and insert, update, upsert, delete. So update means if you have already existing data and you have exported somehow, and you want to change more fields for more records, and you want to update at a time, and you can use a Salesforce ID also in that file, and then you can do a update. So what you have to do is you have to map the fields always if it's import wizard or data loader. So whatever the file you have loaded, so there will be a column names, right? And what are the object you selected, there will be a field names. So you need to map which column belongs to which field. So you need to do that mapping. So where in data loader, it will give kind of a two list, and you can drag and drop. So which field matches to which one. And once you have done that once, and you can store that mapping as a file. And next time when you're having a similar file and same object, you no need to do it manually. So you can simply import that what you have previously exported mapping. You can import that mapping so that it will automatically take care of the mapping of the fields. That's one advantage. So once you map the fields, it could be both insert or update. Then you have to do the operation, confirm. And once it is done, it will generate a logs for you. If it is success log. If it is a failure log with the reason why it has been failed. If it is an insert in success log, you will get an ID, and if it is an update, you will get a normal message. In insert, you will get ID as well as the message as well, like it's success. If it's error, any case, you will get a error log with the what is the reason for the error. And we have options too when we have a null values, insert the blank values to the record, or how many records you want to process in a bulk. Let's say if you have loading a 1 lakh records, so it will not insert 1 lakh at a time. What it will do is it will split this 1 lakh records into a chunks, small chunks of size 200 by default. And if you want to process more records in each chunk, you can increase that limit up to 2000. Sorry, up to 10,000 you can increase. And if you want to reduce also, you can reduce the limit. You have the option to change the batch size. And if you want to go more than 200, you need to enable a bulk API option in data loader. And the one thing you have to make sure was when you are loading a date fields, date or daytime fields, you had to set the time zone. What time zone is applied in your data loader. So you have to set your time zone based on which user you're logged in. Based on that, you have to set the time zone of the logged in user so that it will insert correctly. If you give a different time zone, so based on the selected time zone only, it will load the data. So you have to make sure that you gave a correct time zone when you're loading a datetime fields based on your organization time zone. And delete upset means when you have some of the records has to insert, some of the records has to update, and if you want to perform the action at the same time, you can use upset. If you have a Salesforce ID present, then it will happen as an update. Otherwise, it will do a insert. So in the log file, you will be having a success file with a column called it's created or updated. We have two options in that column. If it's a fail means it's going to be error. Delete means you should you should require a ID column in the file that you're using. Then only it is allowed to delete. And same for update also. Mandatorily, you should give a Salesforce ID column. Then only update or delete will happen. So we have export and export all options. What is the difference between export and export all? So export, what it does is it just you will select the object, and you will give a what columns you need, and you will put what conditions, whether you want to. export all the data. I mean, no, without conditions means it will export everything in your object. And if you select where some field is matching this one, only extract that information, you can do that as a query. And once you've done that, if you do export, it will export a CSV file, what are the columns you selected. And then what is export all? So export all does same as export, but what it does was, so in your object, you have any of the records deleted and they are stored in a recycle bin. So what is the difference? So it will still in backend, it will still store in the object only, but the is deleted flag becomes true, which are in the recycle bin. So when you do a export all, it will export the data from recycle bin as well. And at any given point of time, you can export the data from a single object. Using a data loader, you can export at any point of time from a single object, and you can deal with the single object only, whatever the operations you're doing. So basically the difference between export and export all is export all will also extract the data that is deleted and stored in a recycle bin along with the data of the object. So if you have 100 records in your object and 10 records are deleted, and you see in Salesforce only 90 records and 10 records in a recycle bin, when you do export, you will get only 90 records. And when you do a export all, you get 100 records. If you include the is deleted flag, you can observe the 10 records with the is deleted as a true. Okay, that is the difference between an export and an export all. So this is what a majorly on a data loader we do. And import wizard. So one more thing. So what are the files that you're using for doing any operation using a file? The file has to be CSV format. What all you export also in a CSV format. And similarly in import wizard also, it will support only CSV files for importing like insert or updating, whatever it is. It will support only CSV, and the export also, it's going to be CSV files. And you can schedule some exports in the import wizard, like by this time export the data. Then you can do that in import wizard, and you cannot delete the data in the import wizard. So you don't have option to export and export all like this. And you have a limit of only 50K records only you can perform using the import wizard, and you don't have an option to select the batch size and all. So it will be everything handled by Salesforce itself. And you don't have a much logs here. So you will have a log, but not as detailed as a data loader log. So just have a log with the IDs. That's it. You don't have much details about what log. I mean, it belongs to which records and all. You will be having a count how many records are failed, how many records are success. But log files, you have to go to that job and you have to download it. But still, it's not that much clearly identified like in a data loader. Okay, so when you have simple data loads and you don't have to do every time, and you have very simple and very less data, and you have some requirements like avoid duplicates and all, then you can go for import wizard. And if you have more complex data and you have more data to load and you have more features or more options to see, then go for a data loader. Okay, let's look at how it looks. Hmm, not remember whether I have installed it or not. Okay, so here I logged in, and from setup, go to a data import wizard. This is the one. First, I need to prepare a file. So bulk API monitoring, recent launch wizard, what we can do. Mm, File you have to select, edit field mapping, and review and start. And you have some guidance videos also here. You can just take a look. Okay, so once you have, you can see this kind of recent import jobs. You will see like that what status, what's the object, records created, records updated, records failed, start date, and process time. Okay, I'm launching the wizard. So you will be having two sections here, standard objects and custom objects. And if you see, you don't have option to import data from all standard objects. It has a limitations. You don't see all objects. And custom objects, you can see everything. Hmm, let's say in project, what you want to do, create a new records or update existing records. So if you want to, from your file, you want to add new one and update existing records, it means upset. These three options you can use in an import wizard. No other options we have. So in projects, what will have? First one is a name of the project, and then project lead name, stage. Just trying to use a simple fields, number of employees. We have CAGR growth. Hmm, technology used. GST number. Okay, great. I'm using it. Just I'm using 25 records. So I'm using the same data with just a series. Okay. And stage. What are all the stages we have? Approved, in progress, rejected, completed, terminated, not started. Number of employees. First I'm giving some random numbers over here. Okay, number of employees we had and what other fields. Technology used. Here, Salesforce and so it is a multi-select, right? The fields will be separated by a semicolon when you have a multiple. Anything else? Python. Python. Okay, so just to prepare some data. This is what I have, 25 records of data. And do you think you have any required fields while creating a project? Because again, we'll get an error. So state is also a required field, but I think it's on UI level. Number of employees is required one, project name required, email is also required field. Okay. I'm using emails as well. Now what I need to do, I need to save this file as a save a copy and store it in a CSV format. So once I do this, save. Okay, so let's see what's created. So we have created a CSV file. Done. Now I'm going to use this file to import wizard. Okay, adding a new records. So match by name. So what will happen was, so if any duplicates in the name, it will not allow you. Which user find the file the owner. So if you want to specific to change the owner ID, then you can use this. But I don't have any specification like that, so I am loading. So I will be the owner of that records. So So we have not covered anything on sorry, workflow rules and processes triggers. So it's asking like whether you want to find those records or not. So we'll explain those first and then only we'll come here. So we don't have anything as of now, so I'm not checking this box. Now drag and drop or pick the CSV file. So I'm using the CSV file here. So this has to be a comma separated values. So then nothing to change over here. Next. So I have used the labels, same exact labels. So what happens? It automatically mapped for me based on that titles you have. So if you have a different names or typos, or if you're having API names, it will not do this auto mapping. So you have to do it manually on your own. Okay, so let's have to change also. Yeah, change here. If you want to change it here, it will come like this. So you need to check the fields from your object and you need to select here. Okay, map. So, but actually it is a project name only, not a project lead name. So I'm giving a project name itself and doing a map. So everything is mapped. I'm doing a next. So previously, how many projects we have in the object? 4 or 5. We have 4 projects, right? So let's see. So we have mapped 8 fields. And if you want to go back, you can use the previous button and change the mappings as well. And what are all the options we selected, we can see here. So object is projects. We are selected for creating a new record. And this is a CSV file. So done. Do a start. Okay. Asking to navigating us to bulk data load jobs. So where we can see the metrics over here. So how many queues, how many jobs it ran, and then how many records processed, how many it's failed, how much time it took, everything you can see here. And you can download the files here. What is requested and what is the result. There is no separate log for success and error. We'll have only one result log with both. So this is how it is. The log will be. You don't know like what you have loaded. Just it gave ID and true or false, but you don't know which record is success and which record is a failure. That is a backlog here. I mean, we cannot identify even though if you have errors also. Let's say, let's imagine if you're inserting a 1 lakh record, sorry, it's 50,000 max, right? So if you're doing a 50,000 or 40,000 records, so if you have a success for um, let's say 30,000 records and you want to get the idea of a specific record, how you can pick here. It's not much useful for you, right? But still, you know how many is success, how many is failure, you can know. But you have a log, but not that much informative. And if it is a request CSV, this is going to be what you have requested. So you see the mappings has been changed to a API names of the field and what you have loaded. This is what it is. So nothing what it has read. So it taken all those. Okay, so it's saying if all records are processed, all are success, nothing is failed. So how now let's see how many projects we see now. See now 24, sorry 25 plus 4. So total we have a 29 projects now. Okay, so that's how we do a import wizard. Now I want to just do an update using the same import wizard here. Custom object, projects, update existing record, match by name, don't have owner, and I'm using again the same file and doing a next. So it mapped automatically. I'm doing a next and doing a start import and okay. So here also it's processed 100% and 25 records are processed. So I have not changed anything. So everything is same only. So there's no change much changes over here. So if now what I'll do was I'll make some changes. Let's look at for a project 13. So if you open a project 13, so what I gave the number of employees. Number of employees is 532.7. I think I not given a decimal places. So what happened? It rounded the value and said why, because we don't have a decimal places configured for this one. So still I want to remove all these decimal places as well. I don't want these decimal places. So I want to make it number. Just I want to remove all the decimal places over here. I just want to mm, how we can round these values.
Bala, do one thing. Equal to, it is small comma, rand between.
Equal to
Rand, R-A-N-D, rand between.
okay.
The double click. Give your some range 10 to 100, 10 comma 100 or something. No, comma, not hyphen, comma.
Okay.
Okay, enter. So just drag it. Copy paste as well. Paste as values.
Okay. Okay. Thank you. So here I have changed number of employees for all the projects. Now let's do a load again and see how it works. So everything is mapped. Doing the next start import. Okay. So it's done. So we are looking at 522 here before. I'm just refreshing. Now it become 62. Similarly, it will happen to the all projects as well. Okay, and this is how we do a update or so if you don't know the name and you want to update based on your ID. So I have 1 minute left. um, I'm just trying to show you what are all the number of employees we have. Okay, so we see it all here now. Insert or update existing records, so match by name or Salesforce ID. Yes, I'm trying to use the ID over here. So let's open some projects. So I will just prepare this file meanwhile. So if it is going to end, then it will be continued from the once you join back.